it's not every day we have an author in our PHARRCAST here in our studio in the great city of Pharr. So we're excited to have you, Mr. Reynaldo, also known as Ray Martinez Jr., who has a very special event tomorrow at our Pharr Memorial Library. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Judy. It's a real pleasure to be back in Pharr after a little over 40 years.
Are you serious?
That's right, yes.
40 years. So you've been gone 40 years.
Yes.
What does the traffic look like now?
Well, there's no doubt that urbanization has begun in the valley. And it's why, eye-opening, to see all the improvements, the construction on the roads, and, of course, the population has grown so much. I mean, we've been back to visit from time to time, but we haven't lived here since we moved in 1988.
1988. Mm-hmm. So for those watching or just tuning in, who is Mr. Ray Martinez?
Well, I was very fortunate that I was offered a position here with the PHARRCAST school district to teach in the very first year. It was called Mass Media Communications. They wanted to begin a program that featured skills and knowledge about television production, and they wanted. For me, I had a background. Actually, I was working with the Edinburgh School District as a media consultant then at that time, and they said, "Would you like to, teach,
and launch it, because it would be a first of its kind."
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
What year was this again?
This was 1978.
1978.
Yes. So for 10 years, I taught within the district television production. But we began as mass communications, and they put me at the district TV facility, because at that time the school district had a cable channel 2. And so they said, we'll bus your students from the high school over there. It was located at Napper Elementary School.
Would it be fair to say that you were the pioneer of this type of curriculum or program, or it was new, right?
Definitely was a newer one. There was a television program. It wasn't vocational, but at Edinburgh High School, that's where I was working, at Edinburgh High School. So they had really at Edinburgh the very first one, but it was still young, So I came on here at PHA very close to the time that they had started their program. So we were both together, but mine went vocational, whereas the Edinburgh program did not. And that made the huge difference.
It was a game changer.
Absolutely, because then they were able to access funds to build my own studio classroom on campus at the high school, and then buy industrial level television equipment. It wasn't the professional grade, but it was the level right below it, and certainly much better than home grade when you buy video or any of that kind of equipment. So my equipment was very close to what you would find at a professional television station, video production house, or any kind of media who did at that time broadcasting.
You were the media guru, man. You were that person who, let's go and ask Mr. Martinez what type of microphones and cameras we need.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say that this almost became like the model that others wanted to mimic in the area?
It certainly was. Yes, I believe
awesome.
So. Yeah,
That's
I believe
awesome.
so.
And I'm glad, because you actually, created in a way that pathway for others to follow, whether this was school districts, and as you can see now, many city municipalities are also incorporating, that type of platform, that type of department.
Pharr was always very progressive in terms of connecting with the community, and we were, I guess, at the right place at the right time with the right thing. And when you're in that situation, things happen, which was great. Over those 10 years, we had so much success that story of that time and what the students were able to accomplish and what the program did needed to be told and needed to be preserved, because we forget so much of what has happened in our past. Matter of fact, even today, it seems like people want to erase our past. And that's not good. And so trying to preserve stories like these help us to remember who we are not only that, but what we can be.
Mr. Martinez, those stories that you're talking about now, will those be shared in this
Yes.
book?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so
they're everything. Well, there's a lot in there. Basically, if you will, let me describe the book itself.
Go for it.
I began, over the years that I was teaching, saving photographs, newspaper articles, memorabilia from the program, everything. And over 10 years, I had a pretty good-sized box full of stuff, right? But I never had a chance really to do anything with it. I was working. I was in my career. And so finally, when I retired in 2017, and we established our new home and our basically new life, I had time. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go through that box and I want to organize everything and put it by year, kind of look at everything. And when I was doing that, I went, wow, this is a really cool story. And I started to write then. I would write about, I just took it chronologically, the first year, second year, all the way through the 10th year of my time here at PSJA. I ran into a friend of mine who retired I was at Valdosta State University, and he retired a little bit before me, and his name is Mike. And I said, I ran into him just by accident one day up in Birmingham, Alabama. And I said, Mike, how are you and what are you doing? And he goes, well, I'm working with a publisher now. And I went, really? Well, I've got a story that I think you might be interested in. I don't know. Can I send it to you? Let me know what you think. So I did.
Was that story Roll the Credits?
Yes. That is the story that became the name of the book, Roll the Credits. And he said, let's go for it. And I said, fine. I still need to work on it, add some things. And then when I got to the end, I realized that something was missing. Something's missing here. What is it? And I realized it was my former students' stories. Their stories of how the program impacted them, whether it be professionally or personally in their careers 40 years later or more.
Ray, how did it impact your students? How did this program change their lives?
Well, many of them were able to enter into the television production industry. Some went to work right away at the various television stations here in the Valley. Some went to college and earned degrees in journalism or broadcasting or related fields, public relations, media, journalism, and everybody. I had a few eventually become teachers, and in their stories mention how my teaching kind of inspired them to be teachers themselves in other areas, that they went on to college to study. And just everybody's sense of, camaraderie has really lasted over the years. They have had much success in their lives as well, which I'm so happy, that it turned out that way.
What a story. That's beautiful. You don't hear about these things too often, just to have a group of 50 former students, and everyone's obviously connected in what they're doing, and just that relationship has stayed alive. That's remarkable. This book, share the synopsis.
The synopsis of the book is the story of PSJA TV, vocational television production. It describes how I taught the program. I tell it from a first-person point of view as a teacher.
Okay.
So in a way, it's a teacher's tale of how I decided to change the strategies, change the teaching activities, involve the community, try to, again, compete, which was incredibly good. And then the book talks about the achievements of the students. We won state competition 9 out of 10 years.
I saw those photos.
We won several other high school media contests throughout the state. Our productions aired on KGBT Channel 4, and we were the only high school program to have productions aired to broadcast to the public.
Do you also discuss the challenges with a program of its kind like that?
Sure.
I'm assuming you went through that?
Oh, yeah. We, I think the biggest challenge was keeping the standards and the level of achievement rising. You know, there was a lot of, the students talk about this in their stories, you know, when they came in and they became, because it was a 2-year program. Okay, the students would enter as juniors,
Okay.
and I'd have them at their junior year, and then advance to my advanced class as a senior, right? Now, it took me 4 years to get that rotation. You know, the first few years, I was basically taking students, whoever wanted to get in that I thought was good, to come in, because I also had to interview for the program. You could not just enroll. We were lucky to handpick the students in a way, you could say, but then the pressure becomes, hey, last year we won state. Are we going to do it again? You know?
Maintaining,
Exactly.
right? Those awards
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and the success of the department.
Right. But things, you know, like you said, things sometimes didn't work out that
right.
good.
And I think that's the beauty of this book, that you're sharing, you know, not only the success stories, but it's okay to learn from these challenges.
Exactly. But, you know, I hope that also how should I say this? I've always been a person that believed that the heart of teaching is teaching with a heart.
Well, what better way to tell the story the right way than by, you know, getting a copy of this book
Thank you.
tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock. Share the details, Mr. Martinez.
Fine. I'd like to invite the public to come to the Pharr Memorial Library tomorrow to celebrate with us this most special occasion. I will have I'll have books available if anyone wishes to purchase. But the more important thing is to come and listen. Come and listen to the students who will be reading excerpts from their stories that I've included in the book. And come and celebrate with us.
Next time you're in the city of Pharr, I'm assuming you're going to be traveling more often now that you've seen the growth. This is a space for you. You
Thank
can
you.
always come and share any updated publications, any message you want to share with our community. It's an honor to have you here. And thank you for being a pioneer of such an important field, not only here in our community, but the region and the world.
All right.
Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Pharr Memorial Library, 1 o'clock. Come and get your copy. Roll the credits.
Roll the credits. Go Bears.